After a week or so in Christchurch, we finally found a job, but we decided to travel around a little bit before we actually head to Milford Sound. Our first stop is the famous Mount Cook.
We're gonna begin the Hooker Valley track right after we use the toilet. There's some ice already at the start. It's not much like snow, it's more like ice or that mix between ice and snow. Walking into the mountains, but I don't know from where.
This is the Hooker Valley track. It's stunning and it's simple enough that people of all ages can go and experience this as well. It took us about 3 hours plus to complete this.
We've reached the end, or at least the furthest point of the hike. We'll turn back soon. It's a lake called Hooker Lake. There are bits of ice all around there. Let's see if I can get it. There's ice floating there. We're gonna go down there also later. And this lake was once just all ice. It was just a glacier. But over the years, I think hundreds of thousands of years, it melted. And so apparently it's the glacial lakes that form these really blue water. And it's beautiful. And it looks like ice caps over there.
It was a beautiful hike and I loved everything about it. That night, we stayed in a campsite in Mount Cook and even saw the aurora again. But knowing us, somehow something always goes wrong.
It's 5 a.m. I insisted the window was open and it's -1 and it got so
Now
cold.
she kept the window open and we froze. We turned into ice cubes.
And then I also didn't put away the bottles of hot water and one opened and it soaked me completely. It got to my shirt, my pants, my thermal pants, my underwear, my puffer, and then I had to change, and then it got the bed wet, and then we had to flip it around, and then the bed deflated. We can't have a smooth night.
It took us quite some time to go back to sleep after the whole ordeal, but once we did, we woke up to this beautiful view.
Woke up to this view.
Spare change, miss.
Who are you?
Spare change, please.
And everything's frozen. We've learned from our mistake and we didn't sleep in our tent. And we've learned from more mistakes from last night.
We actually wanted to do more hikes around Mount Cook, but we decided last minute to head to Te Anau, which is the nearest town to Milford Sound.
What you doing, Lupo?
These are the unseen moments, the less illustrious moments of our trip that happen really often, more than the illustrious moments. There's a mountain there with a little bit of snow on top, and it's really beautiful, and that's what most people will see and what we'll remember. But what we shouldn't forget is that I'm here holding our ciabatta bread that's 4 days old, and we put a slice of ham, no cheese, no vegetables, nothing, and now we're gonna put some garlic to make sure that we can eat it.
Garlic aioli.
Yep. That we bought from Countdown. Really cheap also, I remember.
Yeah, I think it was like $4 or $2.
And we stopped at the side of the road to do this.
Thank you.
We arrived at Te Anau in the evening and we stayed in this quaint little hotel. We made some really good food, we had a good rest before we headed over to our new home for the next 2.5 months.
Here we are in Te Anau. It's the last town before we head to the Milford Sound, which we'll do in we'll start the drive in 10 minutes, should be about 2 hours. Cole's eating her real fruit ice cream, they're very famous here. A lot of the fruits that they have will be the stuff that grows locally, so in the region. But now it's winter, so I think all of this is just frozen now.
Yeah. frozen.
She's having poison berry ice cream.
Yummy.
I'm having coffee. And there's not much to see, but the mountains are all around. You can really see them right now. I think that's it.
Once we arrived at the Milford Sound Lodge, our manager showed us around and we got to see what our home would be like for the next 2.5 months.
One of these rooms is ours. This is the staff accommodation. And this is our view. Wow. This is our room. A nice little bed. We've already unpacked everything.
To give you some context, we are in Milford Sound. It is a remote area located in Fiordland National Park, and contrary to its name, it's actually a fjord and not a sound. It's isolated from almost everything, and the closest town is about 2 hours away. But in lieu of petrol stations and grocery stores, they have rainforests, mountains, and beautiful waterfalls. It is also very wet and rainy throughout the year. But more rain just means more waterfalls, and it's gorgeous regardless of the weather. There are a lot of activities to do around here, like boat cruises, kayaking, hiking, and even helicopter tours. I've personally been able to experience the boat cruises. They were very beautiful. I've experienced them when it was rainy, when it was sunny. I got to see so many things. The beautiful waterfalls, the different animals like the penguins, the dolphins, and the seals. I also managed to do a bit of hiking and kayaking and got to see a small portion of the beautiful Milford Sound. Visiting Milford Sound was always on our bucket list, and so this job opportunity was the best thing that could have happened to us. At the lodge, we had multiple roles, which gave us the opportunity to try everything. So I got to try being a barista, a bartender, a dish cleaner for the restaurant, a server for the restaurant, and housekeeper, as you can see here. We worked continuously for 9 days and had 5 days off, which gave us some time for a break and to travel a little bit if we wanted to. The work was pretty tiring because the hours are long. So for instance, we'll be cleaning chalets in the morning. We'll have like 2-3 hours in between before we head back to the restaurant and help out. On average, we would work 9, 10, 11 hours every day. But it really helps that our managers were the freaking best. They had this open door policy where you can just go and talk to them about any of your issues, any concerns, anything, and they will figure out a way to help you. And it's not just empty listening and just being like, okay, yeah, but they're actually gonna actively try to do something to help alleviate any of the issues. And that makes working there a lot easier. Prior to this, I had very minimal hospitality experience. I've only made a few beds, cleaned a few rooms for the help exchange I did. And so being here, I was able to learn a little bit about everything. So one of my favorites was being a server at the restaurant. Every night, the chef would prepare a dish for us at the end of the day where he would describe in detail what goes into the food, what makes each component taste so good. And so it really helps that we're able to explain it to our customers about the process, about the ingredients. It also really helps that the food is amazing and I loved it so much. But outside of work, the communal living was a bit tricky. Because there were like 20 of us living in the same accommodation, everything is a shared space except for your own bedroom. So it was very difficult to find your own space. And because we're all stuck in that small space, sometimes navigating relationships are also a little bit difficult. So having those 5 days off were godsend because you can finally have a little bit of distance, some break, and ability to refresh yourself for the next fortnight. With that all in mind, of course, there are days where you feel like this and this, but it just makes it so worth it when you take a look outside and this is what you see while you're cleaning a chalet. And also many moments like these.
Just clean that. Please. Hey, buddy.
Yeah, we were surrounded by a lot of wonderful people and had a lot of fun. Towards the end of our contract, we got the opportunity to stay in a chalet for free. Of course, we had to order room service.
A 3-course dinner, kind of. Right now, what do we have, Coley? Because we had to learn everything. We have tasted everything because the chefs will prepare a tasting every night. Almost everything.
Some things.
Yep. So, what do we have here, Coley?
We have New Zealand green lipped mussels in an emulsion sauce that's made out of sea urchin, butter, and I forgot some other stuff.
What's the sea urchin called?
It's called.
What's the emulsion called?
It's a quinoa emulsion.
Quinoa
is
emulsion.
Sea urchin.
Oh.
And then this is the Rowena flatbread. It's a sourdough. Oh, it's a sourdough kumara
Which is a New Zealand sweet potato.
bread.
They mix it all together. They roast the kumara. They mix it all together with the sourdough starter and everything, and then they deep fry it, and it absorbs liquid very well. So sous vide for 24 hours. What does that do? 60 degrees, 24 hours. It does this. Basically, the crisp, the sound you hear, and this, like that, just that, and that's in your mouth. Yep. This is a recreation of what actually we do in the restaurant. So imagine me wearing an apron. Hey.
Oh, hello.
I don't usually scare them. Maybe I do, God knows. Hello.
And just like that, 2.5 months were over, our working holiday visas were coming to an end. And so it was time to say goodbye to the Dysons, to the people that we've met. They're all so wonderful. The beautiful, gorgeous Milford Sound, and eventually New Zealand. Not everyone gets to work and live here, and I recognize that privilege. It was a once-in-a-lifetime experience, and it was truly the highlight of our New Zealand working holiday. As a whole, we definitely have had our fair share of struggles here in New Zealand, but with that came a lot of stories, a lot of positive memories, and just genuine, wonderful interactions with everyone that we've met. We loved every single minute of it, except for the super bad ones. But we wouldn't have had it any other way.